Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Today's question comes from a girl who went to clean a house, and when she got there, the family were hoarders. There were hundreds of boxes and clothes and shoes and mismatched things strewn all over the house. There were dishes with half-eaten food in the dishes. There were dog bowls and animal belongings and toys and trinkets and kids' toys and garden equipment inside the house. There was all this extra stuff. And she said, Angie, I couldn't even get in the house to vacuum a little trail that goes through. How on earth am I supposed to clean a house like this? Okay, so the answer to that question is deep-rooted, because hoarding brings with it a whole different series of challenges than a regular routine cleaning that you're going to find at a typical person's house. With hoarding comes a bunch of creativity, and that's the very first thing I want you to understand about hoarders. They are very, very creative people. For example, they might find an old, broken, rusty wagon, and it's falling apart, but it's got one good wheel on it. And they go, oh, hey, look, that wheel is about the same wheel, it's about the same size as this little garden trolley that I have that's missing a wheel. I will take the wheel off of this and I will put it on here. So they bring this old, broken, rusty wagon home with the intention of doing that. The problem is they never get around to switching it out. So now they have a broken garden trolley and they have an old, rusty wagon. And to us, it looks like junk, but to them, it is a solution to their problem. Okay? So there's a lot of creativity involved with hoarders. The biggest problem about hoarders is that they never get around to finishing the projects that they have good intentions for. So it's a challenge based on creativity and good intentions, okay? So when you look at hoarders, what you have to consider is there are also some other issues going on. Because when we live in a house that has old broken garden trolleys and old rusty wagons, and we have extra clothes and shoes and dishes and things all over the place with good intentions, along with that comes a sense of overwhelming disorganization. And with the overwhelming disorganization, depression sets in. And along with depression, no one feels like $1,000,000 when they are depressed, right? Their body language changes, their countenance changes, their mental energy changes. And these are not people that are like, oh yes, I have solutions. These are people that are like, oh my gosh, when am I ever going to get around to cleaning up this mess? And as a result of the mess, a lot of other things go awry. For example, let's say that the house settled, and in the process of the house settling, it cracked a window. A normal, everyday, happy, clean, tidy person would call a repair person and come get a new window. But this person that's suffering from hoarderism is living in a space where everything needs repair. It's just another cracked window. I'll get around to it when I get around to it. So as a result, a whole bunch of things start falling apart. It will be appliances that break down. It will be running water that goes out. It will be hot water that goes out. There are a whole bunch of different things that will break. The element in the refrigerator will break, and so no longer do they have a refrigerator. But they can't get the old refrigerator out because there's all this crap and stuff in the way. So now they're living in a house with a broken refrigerator. There's no hot water. There's a cracked window. There's a bunch of stuff all over. And I promise you, you do not feel like $1,000,000 and on top of the world and confident and successful with all of this other stuff going on. It's just kind of a downward spiral where suddenly these people are now living a life of squalor and they have all this excess of stuff around them, okay? So when you go into a house of hoarders, the very first thing that you have to do is understand that they are creative people. Number two, they're not doing anything at all about their creativity. If they are, they would create a solution to their hoarding problem. So the reason they have hired you is because they're hoping you have solutions. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to find out, what exactly is it that you want me to do? Do you want me to help you create more space for all of your stuff? Or do you want me to eliminate your stuff so that you have more space? Now, the very first instinct with hoarders, they don't want to get rid of anything. They want more shelves. They want more storage units. They want more places to store their stuff. They don't want to get rid of stuff because that's not the space that they're in, right? They're creative people. They have all of these fixes that somehow they're going to get around to one day. They want more space. They don't want to get rid of stuff. But the solution is to start getting rid of stuff. And so the very first thing that we do is we get rid of one thing on day one. Is there one sock in this room that you can throw away and have no remorse? Is there one dish, an old plastic cup or something, that you can throw away with no remorse? And get them to toss out one thing. On day 2, they toss out 2 things. On day 3, they toss out 3 things. On day 4, they toss out 4. What happens is every day they start opening that doorway just a little bit more. And to the point where they're opening the door so wide, now they can push all their things out. We want to help them get rid of and eliminate and make it okay to get rid of things they no longer need, want, or use. Because every hoarder has a bunch of stuff that they've hung on to for all of the wrong reasons. Whether it's old clothes, oh, those are my skinny clothes. I'm going to get back into those skinny clothes one day. Guess what? Go buy yourself new skinny clothes when you lose the weight, because then they will be in fashion and you won't be wearing 12-year-old skinny clothes that are no longer in style. So let's get rid of the skinny clothes that no longer are in style, that do not fit you right now, right? So by the time they get to day 20 and they're throwing 20 items out, what happens is now that door is wide open. Every day on a very safe basis, they've been throwing away a couple of things. But what happens is by about day 20, that door is wide open and they're now in a comfort zone. Like, look, no one got hurt. I threw away 20 things today and no one got hurt. This is amazing. Hey, wait a second. Nobody said I couldn't throw away 50 things. And they get in the process where now they start declutterizing their lives. But it has to come from them. As an outsider coming in, you cannot make people change. Because what happens is this: if you come in and they're not ready to change and you haven't opened that door, if you start throwing things away, which they may be perfectly okay with, you throw away a bunch of things and you come back next week, and all of those things that you threw away will now be replaced with things from the flea market and the garage sales that they've gone to during the week. Because in their minds, that door was not open and they were not ready to get rid of that stuff. So now that there's a blank space of stuff on the floor, the immediate norm is to have that space filled. And they will go back, and even at an unconscious level, they will replace all of the things they just threw away. So that now their house, once again, is completely cluttered and completely messy. So understanding what hoarding is all about is really important, because you can't help somebody unless you understand it, number one. And number two, there are times that you're not going to be able to help them at all. And they're not ready to change, and they don't want to change. They're just very depressed and discouraged, and they need a light at the end of the tunnel. And so they've hired you to come in, and if that's the case, understand that that's the case. Understand that you're going to come in and you're going to empty the stuff out of the sink, and you're going to wash the dishes that are in the sink, and you're going to clean out the toilets, and you're going to stack a few boxes, and you're going to leave. That's all you can do. There's just too much stuff. By understanding the root of the problem will help you understand what kind of solution you're going to be able to offer. All right, that's my tip for today. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.